And the case that he was reporting outside of was a Muslim grooming gang with scores of victims as young as 11, horrific crimes that no mainstream media was covering, only Tommy. Now, the only other time we've heard something similar like this was with Jada Franson and, what's his name, from Britain First, who are also locked up. They were locked up for basically coming to the house of, the neighbour's house of a now jailed pedophile who was out at the time, a Muslim pedophile who gang raped a young girl in a fish and chip shop just to notify the neighbours that he lives next door. They were also locked up. So this is what the UK police are using as a tactic to silence these people. And Tommy has been through it. And the scary thing here is that this could very well be the end of Tommy, not just online, but this could be the end of his life, because the last time he was sent to jail on charges that he should have never been sent to jail, it was after the EDL. The police had it in for him, and I encourage everybody to go and I'll try to find the link and I'll put it in the description, where Tommy tells his story about what happened to him and how he was at the end jailed on fraud after the whole EDL, and he was put in a room with a group of Muslims. And in fact, if you ever see Tommy smile, he has a smile of $1 million, but they are fake teeth because he had his face bashed in. These are scary times, and you know, over the last few months, I've grown a bit of a relationship with Tommy, and I'm shocked. I don't know what to feel about it. I'm sad and I'm scared for Tommy, because we've seen his history hasn't, the government is against him. This is not some big conspiracy theory, and I'm not someone who's into these crazy conspiracy theories, but this is fact. This is the life of Tommy. They've tried to shut him up at any means possible. They've used to shut him up. And I urge everybody outside of the UK to keep talking about it, keep spreading information about it as it comes out. I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to try get information out of the UK and post it here, because they can't do anything to me. They can't silence us here outside of the UK. And those of you in the UK, just be careful what you're posting. Don't get too popular, because you might find yourself in a similar situation. But I'm hoping this creates an uprising of the right. Not a violent one, but one that says enough is enough. Look at the UK. Look what's happening in the UK. Lauren Southern is banned from coming there because they don't like what she says. Tommy Robinson, and I urge you all to I'll try to find a link as well of the entire live hour-and-a-half broadcast he did. He was extra cautious about information he was giving on the case, only reading from a newspaper that was already public. He was being extra polite, extra careful. In fact, he was telling us he's not going to be able to give us the information of the outcome until the gag order is lifted about 6 months down the road. He was trying to be a law-abiding citizen, and the government, they want to shut him down. They want to shut him down because his message resonates with too many people who are angry about the direction the UK has taken. I believe this was a grave mistake by the UK government, because this is going to inflame the entire nation. Every single conservative, anybody in the UK who believes in at least part of Tommy's messages is going to hit the streets now. And so they should. So they should, because a man is going to jail for 13 months now. A man who speaks for a lot of people. There was, at the time that he was arrested, I was watching live. At the time he was arrested, there was about 11,000 of us online with him. Since then, there was millions of views until they pulled it down. I don't know if the police forced it down or the guy's taking care of his page at the moment. It's very unclear, because everybody is nervous to speak. But what we do know, he was arrested, and within an hour he was in court and sentenced. He was arrested at the time for breaching the peace and charged on contempt of court, and jailed for 13 months, all within the period of 1 to 2 hours. This is unheard of. We're thinking of you, Tommy. We're praying for you. Those who are religious are praying for you, but this is not right. And in 2018, in a Western free democratic society where free speech is one of the main pillars of our society, this is what we're founded on. And Tommy has been targeted time and time again. And this is the last straw. This is the last straw. And so many, thousands upon thousands, resonate with Tommy and stand behind Tommy and stand with Tommy, both in the UK and around the world. But this is an attack on our free democratic way of life. And we cannot tolerate it. We cannot tolerate it because this is how governments, sorry, I haven't slept. This is how governments take over a society. This is what we can't allow to happen in our, this puts everything we stand for at risk. And from here, look, we're going to watch it closely, and I don't know where this is going to end. And I'm encouraging everyone. There's a link on the page on Tommy's page, and I've linked his page here to support his legal case, hopefully an appeal ASAP. But nobody can be talking about it much, so it's very hard to get out the information. But support it, help him, because this is a turning point. This is a turning point not only for the UK, for freedom. You know, I'm sure here in Australia, our government is looking at what's happening there. And if they're successful to shut down Tommy, and, you know, if Tommy gets killed in jail and that's the end of Tommy, and that's the end of his movement, that is going to set a precedent even here in Australia. And it is a dangerous precedent. So we around the world need to get behind him. And around the world, we need to support his case and support his fight to ensure that he gets out and wins and shows, and the message is, it needs to backfire. Every government needs to see that if you play these sorts of games, if you start to crack down on people because you don't like the way they think, if you try to crack down on people because they hold a different view than you, it will backfire. I'm sorry that I'm rambling because it's been a long night. It's been a long night and I haven't slept much. I've been trying just to work out, and it's just emotional. I think, and I'm not alone. There's thousands I see around the world that are emotional about this, because Tommy to us is an icon. Like, Tommy is somebody that has been brave, has been fighting this fight from the beginning before it was even popular to fight. Tommy has given the biggest sacrifices. You know, if you look, and again, I urge you to watch his bio, but if you see what happened to him and how it was targeted and how he almost lost his life already, and we can't let it happen to him, and we cannot, we need to unite. And this fight with Tommy is going to go in one of two ways. Either the government's going to win and set a precedent worldwide. Do not think just because you're outside of the UK this won't affect you. It will. Or people power, we around the world, conservatives that care about free speech. You don't have to agree with everything Tommy says. But those of you who stand for free speech around the world, you could be left-wing and care about free speech, stands with Tommy and defends our free speech, defends our freedom of thought, and win and overcome. And show any government that you cannot act like this. I'll leave it at this.